One. Good afternoon and welcome to this special edition of the A-Team documentary show as we look back at people who played a prominent role in the rise of the A-Team back in the 1980s. We've spoken to guest actors who have played numerous bad guys. We've spoken to guest actors who played numerous good guys. We've spoken to the former stunts people on the show. We've spoken to people who have produced the show. We've spoken to some of the main characters, and one of the main stunts person for the gun tricks on the episode Showdown, season 3, episode 9, was the one and only Marneen Fields. Marneen, a pleasure talking to you today. And the A-Team, I was just looking at your resume there on IDM Pro, a long list of stunts in terms of your history, in terms of that. But in terms of the A-Team, was that one of your first gigs, or how did the opportunity come about for you to be a stunts person in the A-Team?
Well, I had worked for Craig Baxley on a Wonder Woman episode, and I did a big fight with Wonder Woman. She threw me all over her apartment and everything, and I was known for my high falls and my gymnastics talent. And I received a call that Craig had put my name in, and they wanted me to do gun tricks. And we had learned at the stunt school that I trained at, I had learned how to do some gun tricks, and I had learned how to work with a, fighting with boards and all gun handlings and different things. So what was really interesting about this job is that usually the stunts were second unit, which means that, first unit is your actors and your stars, and second unit is your stunt people, and they work with the second unit director or stunt coordinator. But this was actually a third unit shot, and they just wanted insert shots of my hands doing these incredible gun tricks. So I got to the studio early and I got picked up, and they took me to a mountaintop behind Magic Mountain, and they let me off, and they said, we'll be back and get you, practice your gun tricks. So that was so neat though, and the view was gorgeous. And so I went over and created the gun tricks, and there was also a little fall in the scene. And then, a few hours went by, but I have seen the episode, and I taped it, and I sent you some still photos.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they used my gun tricks, because again, it was third unit, and I'm assuming that they did. I did not see this episode until like a year ago. I found it, and I was like, oh, finally, I can see those gun tricks. I'm not sure if that's me or if they put the actress in, because I usually would do the falls, and then when I'm on the ground, they then put the actress in my place and pose her like I was on the ground.
Okay.
So I wish this was one of my big stunt jobs, but that was what I did in this show.
And Marneen, you mentioned there the sort of gun tricks in terms of that. So in terms of your hands and sort of such. So in essence, were you the hands of George Prepared?
Yes, I'm the hands that did the gun tricks, the swirling of the gun and the firing of the gun, and the pulling it out of the holster and the poses, and everything that was there with the gun tricks. I was she was dressed in a cowgirl outfit. I didn't see the script because this was just a third unit gun, and I've never in the career. Now my career is so vast, and I'm always was called to do these incredibly dexterous things that you wouldn't think that would even fall into the category of stunt double, but this was one of them. And I had worked with Dirk Benedict on quite a bit. I did a lot of Galacticas, and I worked with him on a lot of those, so that was pretty neat. I got A-Team.
Yeah. And Marneen, in terms of working with Craig Baxley, obviously Craig Baxley was the Baxley family were iconic in terms of the 80s, in terms of stunt sort of team, in terms of that. So working under Greg, did you really see his vision, obviously, of what he wanted to do with the A-team? He was obviously prominent in working in the Dukes of Hazzard as well. He's featured, known for all those famous car scenes in the Dukes of Hazzard as well. So in terms of working with Craig, did you really see his vision of what he wanted to do for the A-team?
Well, they actually sent me up in the mountain with a gun trainer to learn the gun tricks with them. So I had heard from Craig and he put my name in for it, but I don't remember if I got to see Craig that day. Now, I wish I could have worked with the great Craig Baxley a whole lot more. I did work with him extensively on the Wonder Woman Mind Stealers from Outer Space, and I did really hard. See, back then we were pioneering stunt women. We didn't have the jerk off cables and the airbags and all of this. And so that fight with Wonder Woman, that was my gymnastics legs throwing those flips in the air. Like she threw me. I had to, so that was so awesome. But I was trying to think back, and this is one show that I don't remember this well because of just concentrating on learning those gun tricks and standing on that mountain by myself as they dropped me off. And the trainer, he worked with me, then he said, okay, you go practice. And he left, and there I was. And that was, just so I'm not sure if I saw Craig that day, but I did talk to him on the phone, and he is the one who put my name in for it.
And Marneen, you mentioned those sort of gun tricks there on the mountain. I presume, obviously, you were training with Banks as well in terms of that. Obviously, you're in a sort of a wild sort of setting, sort of such, and there was no mishaps, no deers or anything came around your way, or no sort of small animals in your line of fire.
Well, there was quite a bit of mishaps because I was learning something new that they wanted. So when you ask, did they ask for anything specific? Yes, I was supposed to draw the gun out of the holster, and then I spin the gun a few times, and then I fire the gun. And so I was going over all of those steps that he taught me and trained me in order to do it correctly. And it was very exciting, and it was so much fun, and I still get residuals from that show.
And in terms of that, Marneen, in terms of family and loved ones, and obviously you've an extensive career in terms of the stunt business, in terms of actress playing roles as well. If you say to someone, well, I've appeared on the A-team, would they say, really? Or is it sort of just taken back by surprise in terms of, obviously the A-team is iconic, it's known all over the world. So to have that, even that bit of a role in it, even that sort of small role with it in terms of the A-team, you sort of feel a bit of fondness towards any sort of project I imagine that you've appeared on. Is sort of warms the heart as the years goes on.
Yeah, that was a small role. And I do want to mention that I'm not sure if I got your complete question there. I am hearing impaired. I'm probably the only stunt woman that's ever, worked in those early years that is hearing impaired. But it was I don't know how big her role was in the episode, the woman I doubled, and I don't even know her name because this was not I doubled a lot of famous superstars, Jane Seymour and Priscilla Presley, Michelle Phillips, and Shirley Jones. I doubled many of well-known superstars, and I don't remember. I don't know this girl's name, and she might be very well known. It just slips my mind. This goes back. This was '84, I think. It was in the '80s, and so it's a long time ago. And because it wasn't a difficult stunt and it wasn't a big deal, but it was a lot of fun, and it was a lot of challenge to learn those gun tricks. And now when I do pick up a little handgun, I will play with it and remember what I was taught. And that's fun.
And Marneen, lastly for me, before I let you go, if you to sum it up in 30 seconds, your experience on the A team, or any sort of memory or sort of story, what would that be?
Well, that would be that. And then also, working with Dirk Benedict, he was just amazing on Galactica, amazing on A Team, just a wonderful presence. He was so strong. And then also, anybody getting called by the great Craig Baxley to do anything. And my only regret is that I wish the times, because I didn't do stunts after 91 because of a bad car accident, but I always remember him on that Wonder Woman series and wish I could have worked with him more.
Marneen Fields, it's an absolute pleasure talking to you today. You played an important role in the A Team episode Showdown, which aired all across the United States and Canada, across cable TV and network on November the 20th, 1984. And whenever anyone sees that episode and sees all the gun strikes and all the sort of scenes in terms of stunts and that, they'll think of the name Marneen Fields. Marneen, an absolute pleasure, and thanks for sharing your memories with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. That was really fun to remember that.
Cheers. Thank you, Marneen. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.